cool. So, all right. So yeah, we need these 10 colors, and if you're we'll say smart, but it could also be like really cheap, or if money's tight, just use this and this for the base, or this and this for the base. Paint desert bases, and then you save on colors. Otherwise, you need colors for the base, which can be something like a Grill on Earth or Badlands, and you pick it from the Games Workshop thing, and then you dry brush it with this or with that white, and then you're golden. Again, you're kind of dual wielding all of these colors into giving them more purposes. But this is the speed paint version. You can paint an army in a weekend, but for sure I've done it actually multiple times with this technique. It's completely insane. What it lacks in finesse for one model, it makes up for the fact that you can paint 3,000 points in a week, and 3,000 points of Ultramarines always look good. So that's the thing. So let's get started. So obviously this thing starts with blue here, and we're using Ultramarine blue from the Army Painter because we can spray it on. This model was sprayed on, so you don't really need an airbrush. Of course, if you have one, this can all go much faster. And then what we want to do is touch up all of that blue first. That's the most important thing. Of course, if you have an airbrush, you can spray it. But because somebody got angry the last time I said you don't need an airbrush to do this, and I used an airbrush, let's paint it by hand because people on the internet have been known to make sense and be completely moderate people. That's right, I said it. I ain't taking it back. So it's gonna look like this, and then we're just gonna give it like a minute to dry or something. Maybe it's just because it was not shaken and it looks so light. Or because it was primed black beforehand. It's possible. Both of these options are possible. Oh yeah, there we go. It was too light. Exactly. Because he lives in a blue house with a blue wife and a blue Corvette. And everything around him is blue. Our strategy here is going to be very simple. We're going to use one color on every single surface. And we're all going to use like kind of medium color or neutral colors that work really well with a Groxart shade. And at the very end, we'll shade our entire model with a Groxart shade. You guessed it. So it's important to kind of pick your color with this strategy in mind. So sometimes some colors, they might look weird to begin with, but that's because the late game pays off. And we'll start with Balthazar Gold. I like this color. It's not a yellow. Gold, it's more almost bronze, but it covers like nobody's business, so it's really interesting. And yeah, I like it. But again, if you want a more yellowish gold, just use Retributor armor. It's probably the best one. It's probably the best gold out there. But these ones, because the rest of that army is started with Balthazar Gold, we're keeping that color. so. Alright, so now the only thing, basically the only thing we're not going to do is we're not going to touch up the blue. Okay, so if we mess up like I did somewhere here, where is it? There was a, oh, there it is. There's a little mess up here on top of the gold. We're not touching up the blue because the blue is the color that has the most chance to get mess ups on. So we're just gonna do it at the very end. We're gonna fix it. But we'll do every single other color before that, and then we'll come back and fix the blue. The other colors we might touch up as we go, but we'll see. And this is another good good trick here. So we're not really we're not planning on perfection. We're just planning around the fact that we are most certainly not perfect and we are going to make mistakes. So we're planning around like our touching up strategy, and then we're picking our colors in order of which one are kind of easier to do first. So like the gold, because doing the chest without touching anything around it was kind of hard. That's the first color that we do. And then we do a silver, because silver is usually the longest color. And we want to get that part out of the way, out of our system. And then once it's done, we're going to be flying through this model. And some may say we're already flying through the model because we're practically halfway there. And then once we do the brown, I'm going to try to dodge around the little buttons. Oh, we might need one extra color here. We could do, if our goal is to kind of not use that many colors, we could do all of these vents and like cables in silver. It will look fine. Or we can spring for an 11th color, which is not that big of a deal. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to take an 11th color. Just this one big piece here in silver. You can do the vents as well. I've seen it done. It looks fine. Backpacks here, you can do whatever you want. I like this big like reactor kind of piece in silver, just to break off. Otherwise, the back is like a whole lot of blue. So it's kind of up to you at that point. Like how flexible are you with the official colors and everything. This will give us like a very classic scheme. All right, so let's find our color for. The thing. So again, so our vent color is going to be Dark Reaper. Well, you can't read because it's all gunked up. It's Dark Reaper, and we're using Dark Reaper just because it's one of the darker color that will work really well with a Grok Searchade. You know, maybe I like Incubi Darkness a little bit more, but Incubi Darkness and the Grok Searchade, they don't really do anything. So I'm moving on to the vents right now. Would have made sense to start with them, but they're not really in the way of anything, so you know it's not that big of a deal. So we are 4 colors down. Next up, let's do the brown right now. Brown's a fine color. So we're using Scrog Brown. Now I'm going to let you know a secret. This is going to look really, really weird because Scrog Brown by itself is a really weird color. But once we add the Grok Searchade to it, it's going to look a lot better. So that's another thing. But if you can't handle the fact that it's going to look ugly for a while, just pick Doombull Brown. Doombull Brown is kind of a happy medium. I think it does not look as good on the finished product, just because the shade is much as potent on it. But while you're painting it, it's going to look better. Also, like Doombull Brown is such a nice color. Doombull Brown. There's never a reason not to own Doombull Brown. It's just like a great color. It does everything. Okay. So now we have to be, actually we have to be careful this time. You know, it's not the end of the world if we mess it up. It's not gonna be that long to touch up, but if we can do it perfectly, might as well. Might as well. Oops. All right. Next up, we have the red and the bone, and these are for purity seals. So bone, we're gonna use skeleton bone, but you can use Zandri dust. You can do Steel Legion drab. You can do whatever. Morghast is not. I don't like Morghast that much because it does not cover that well, to be honest. But the color is really nice. It's got like yellowish. Yeah, done and done. Is that your name? Or are you done talking? Both. Okay. So next up, we'll finish the purity seal. We'll do Mephiston red. Mephiston red, my favorite red color out there. Is the best. Just the best. It's just the best. And then if you're doing like Sergeant and you want that classical look, which I really like, Sergeants have like a red helmet. You can do that red as well. Or if you want to, you can have like squad markings and everything here. Next up, we can do Ultramarine. Obviously, if you have decals, use decals. Decals are the best. But if not, you can. Ultramarines is kind of a simple one to do, to be honest. And usually, if I say this, I'm gonna mess it up for sure. But it's sort of an easy one. So you start with a circle. So we'll start by finishing our freehand at this stage here. And then all that you need to do is paint another little. So now this time we need to be a little bit more accurate than the first time. We can't really just completely freehand this. We have to put some sort of effort. So we'll paint a little circle inside our circle towards the top part, like so. And then we can kind of touch up the exterior if we want to. And we want to because it's not really that time consuming and it's going to look prettier. Alright, so we did a couple of touch-ups and there were not that many. We were kind of neat with what we did. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a Raxor shade and we're going to get like one clean coat on everything. If you have the Army Painter, you can use Strong Tone, a little bit toned down because Strong Tone is a little bit more potent than this. Or you can use the quick shade, like the dip thing. I like to paint it on. I don't like to dip my guys, but I've used that for almost all of my models. It's pretty much the same thing, to be honest. The quick shade and the Agroxor shade, very similar results. I like both, but I really enjoyed the quick shade product. If you paint it on, it is my favorite method to do this. So now. I'm going to start at the top. Now our guy here is kind of already, you know, we didn't do much, but he's already much more interesting just from this distance, which is like kind of the optimal distance. And now would be a good time to do bases. So obviously bases, same trick as usual. You do all of the bases at the same time. So if you have like an army, you do all of them. You don't do just one. We got a little base here. This one is a city fight thing. One of our friend Lazang's favorites. This guy's missing one thing, one very crucial thing that no proper player should ignore, which is eyes. So we're going to paint the lenses. Now, traditionally, Ultramarine lenses are red. However, everything that glows into my Ultramarines army is bright green. Therefore, the eyes are going to be painted bright green. If you're a stickler for, you know, the codex, like Reboot Gilman would be proud of you, they're red. So instead of bright green here, just take red. There we go. So now we're just going to do yellow. So let's get black here, and then let's just do the side. Well, no, it's easier to have the Space Marine on top. So now we're going to cut our Space Marine from the base. Somewhere nice. Perfect. And this is another very important part, is paint the rim on your bases, okay? So now again, so let's put him back on the little handle so that I can show you guys better. And again, this guy here on its own, you know, on its own, it is what it is. Okay, it's nothing really impressive, but then again, nothing too far fetched. But at the speed that went, this was practically like a 25 minutes paint, and we can do, I'm telling you, a million in a weekend. Like you can line up your whole army and then just like work through your whole army in one go.